What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. This is The Blip, the show in which I cover news, highlights, and events from the world of tech. I want to thank you for taking your time out to watch this channel. If you are new to this channel, please do me a huge favor and consider subscribing to this channel. Also, hit that like button as well. I am Jamocha, and this is Sounds Nerdy. Apple developing touchscreen Macs that could debut in 2025 with the new MacBook Pro. This is a story from 9to5mac.com. So Apple is apparently planning a reversal of one of its long-held beliefs of the Mac. According to a new report from Bloomberg, Apple has a team of engineers actively working on touchscreen Macs. It could release a new MacBook Pro with a touchscreen support as soon as 2025. Now, obviously, that is a big reversal from Mac. We know they had their iPads with their touchscreens and their phones obviously with touchscreens, but their MacBooks have never had touchscreens, and that's one of the things that I've always wanted Apple to do. I don't own any Apple products, but I felt that Apple needed to go into that direction. But I had a reason why they didn't get into it, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So Apple moves reversing course on touchscreen Macs. Thus far, Apple has resisted bringing touchscreens to the Mac lineup. Steve Jobs was famously opposed to the idea. Jobs called it an ergonomically terrible idea. Touch surfaces don't want to be vertical, he said in 2010, around the time of the iPad's introduction. After an extended period of time, your arms want to fall off. I kind of disagree with that from Steve Jobs. I don't know if he's actually ever had the chance to actually use a touchscreen computer. You don't actually sit there the whole time touching your screen the whole time you're on there. You scroll when you need to touch the screen. You go back to your keyboard and get the mouse or your touchpad. You cycle through all of those options, and I find having a touchscreen on a laptop is very beneficial. I love it. I can't go without it. So I don't know if Steve Jobs ever used one. So I think if he actually took the time to actually use one, he would probably get a different feel. Touchscreen Mac Pro in the works. As part of its effort, the company is testing the MacBook Pro with touchscreen capabilities. Apple is considering releasing this as soon as 2025, but there are ongoing deliberations inside the company that could impact that timeline. MacBook Pro revamp being tested inside Apple retains a traditional laptop design that includes a standard trackpad and keyboard. The difference, of course, is that the screen would support touch input and gestures, just like the iPad or just like the iPhone and iPad. If the company decides to move forward with launching touchscreen Macs, Bloomberg says that the technology could eventually expand to other models in the lineup as well. All right, that's pretty much all the story here. But yeah, again, that's would be a huge reversal for Apple to allow touchscreens on their MacBooks. And again, I would love that for Apple's sake, that it would be beneficial for them, because I notice every time I've ever had a MacBook sit in front of me, or an Apple laptop sit in front of me, the first thing I normally do is I go to the screen when I want to scroll or expand or pinch to zoom, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm on an Apple, I can't do that. Then I have to resort to using the trackpad. So hopefully this does come to fruition for Apple's sake. But this also brings in a bigger question. Is Apple changing on some of its core practices? Let me give you a quick rundown. First off, we had the situation with, well, they are considering allowing the side loading of apps on the iPhone. So that's a big reversal from what Apple is doing. And also, another one is them switching to USB-C. Now, obviously, they've been forced to do that, but based on the European laws, but they're switching to that. And of course, with the touchscreen, is Apple changing the way their company runs? We had some things with what's going on with the App Store and commission or whatever. So Apple could be changing to adopt to more modern practices, trying to stay up to date with what Android is doing, as far as all those things Android has already done with touchscreens and side loading of apps, and obviously USB-C on their devices. So yeah, so maybe they're seeing where the leaves are blowing, and they're making the decision that we have to change some of our core practices. So this is one of those things added to that seems to me that the company may be changing overall, which to me means that they're coming into more of the modern time frame, and it's a good thing for them. And to touch on the touchscreen a little bit more, what if they do introduce a touchscreen MacBook? How would this affect the MacBook and iPad sales? I've always had the long notion that Apple did not want to develop a touchscreen MacBook because it would kind of butt heads with their iPads. You figure Apple wants you in their ecosystem. They want you to get their iPhone, they want you to get their iPad, and they want you to get their MacBooks or their laptops or whatever. If you get a iPad and then you also have a MacBook that's also a touchscreen, they could kind of butt heads. I think some Windows and maybe Android users would consider switching more readily to Apple if they had a laptop that was touchscreen, capable. That would kind of help. I think some people transition over to Apple a little bit, but I think that they've pushed back on that notion for a while because I think that it could butt heads with their sales a little bit into their iPads or their MacBooks, considering that their iPads are very capable, machines that are capable of doing a lot of what the MacBooks could do. So you could conceivably just get one or the other, one or the other. But if you have MacBook with a touchscreen and iPad with a touchscreen, again, you could probably just get one or the other, as opposed to what their current ecosystem is now, is that you have to have an iPad that is a touchscreen and a MacBook that is not a touchscreen. So we'll see if this comes to fruition. We'll probably hear a little bit more about this later this year, or probably more around 2024, as this is probably still 2 years away. But that is interesting, all right, in itself. So let's move on to the next story. So that is all the news I have for you today. I want to thank you guys for taking the time out to watch this video. Again, all of these stories here can be found on my website at soundsnerdy.com. Everything again is curated from around the web. I gather the stories and then I aggregate them here on one website for you, so you no longer have to go to 10, 12, 15 different websites to get all your tech news. Everything is right here for you in one convenient place. So again, if you're new to this channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. Also hit that like button if you like this video. And until the next video, guys, stay nerdy.